This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by the Art League of Ocean City.
Well, CoastLife, you know we love our trips to the Art League of Ocean City, which we pop in every month to see what's new. But it's not every day that we have an artist joining us on the CoastLife couch from the Art League. We've got Golie Miamee and her beautiful work, or at least a little bit of it, that's going to be on display with the Art League of Ocean City for their first Friday in February. So Golie, first, just introduce yourself a little bit, who you are and why art and how art is so important to you.
Yeah, so Golie Miamee. I now live in Ocean City and a member of the Art League. And, I think I was born an artist.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed art since I can remember, and I've studied computer science and graphic design, so it's allowed me to eventually veer away from the IT world into the art world, which I've been doing since 2010 now. And what I do is I take photographs and images and I manipulate them on the computer. So I paint or draw over them on a computer. So it's digital art is what I would call it. And I have it put on different mediums like the brush metal, which is one of my favorites.
Yes.
It's very durable and it gives it an extra dimension because when you move across it and the light changes, it gives it a sense of movement.
Yeah, it might be hard to see on camera, but any of this space here that might appear white is actually that brushed metal coming through.
Exactly.
And it shimmers right before the eye, and it's gorgeous. I mean, not only the photograph, but I think the way that the metal works alongside it is just one. I could stare at this picture all day long, which you can too on Friday, the first Friday in February. So tell us a little bit about your artwork that's going to be on display with the Art League of Ocean City.
So yeah, the title of the exhibit would be Sand and Cedar.
Yes.
The sand and bringing in the name of the restaurant that it was created for, Sand and Cedar Taverna, which will be opening in Ocean Pines. So the whole collection is based on that theme, and basically all the images show women in different poses, veiled, but not in a religious type of a way, which is what you'll hear more about Sand and Cedar, but it's the regions of, Morocco, Lebanon, Turkey. So this veil represents something more sexy, something of freedom. So I wanted to change that and bring in the culture and the history, but in a different view.
I love that.
Different way.
And I think that's part of what makes art so special, is that you can kind of play with that. And I think I love using women as the subject for this in particular, because a veil can be seen as something more conservative or something to hide a face with, but then to kind of explore that in a sexier way. Yes, I think that is part of what makes the artwork just so stunning. So are you originally from America and the Ocean City area?
I was born in the U.S., but my family is originally from Iran. So even though the sand and cedar concept doesn't cover the region of Iran, it does cover the neighboring countries. So it all relates. So a lot of history, my personal history and experience goes into this. So I'm very proud to present this.
You should be very proud to present this, because I think it's going to be a very beautiful exhibit for folks that are visiting the Art League of Ocean City to go see. So remind viewers where this is going to be on display and when.
Yeah, so the exhibit opens on next Friday, February 7th at the Art League of Ocean City. It's on 94th Street Bayside. Yes. It's between 5 and 7 p.m. and it's free to everyone. Awesome. And there would be food and drinks hosted by Sand and Cedar Taverna.
Perfect. But we are not done talking about the Sand and Cedar exhibit. When we get back on CoastLife, Golie is not going anywhere, and her husband is going to join us to talk about more of this team up and what you can see. That's on the way.
This segment of CoastLife is sponsored by the Art League of Ocean City.
CoastLife, just before the break, we introduced you to Golie Miamee, one of the artists of the Art League of Ocean City, and her upcoming display at the Art League for their first Friday. But now, joining us on the CoastLife couch is her husband, Peter Elias, with Sand and Cedar, and you're not an unfamiliar name to this area as well as a restaurant owner.
Yes, it's been a blessing. We're excited on the new venture and the new concept. Yeah. And I've been really lucky to, art's a big part of what we do in our restaurants. We have that in one of our current restaurants now, and I'm excited about this new concept. Very excited. So
let's dive into this new concept a little bit, because Sand and Cedar is the name of the exhibit that Golie has going on, and you kind of inspire each other, is that right? That the restaurant and the art both inspire one another.
We do. We travel all over, the world, and we, aside from writing it off, it's kind of fun. She looks at visible art, takes photos of the regions that we go to, and I get inspired to create new concepts. And so with Sand and Cedar Taverna, this is a Lebanese-centric concept.
Ooh.
Lebanese, then Turkish, Greek, and Moroccan. So we are focusing strictly on those regions, and the idea behind it is to show the similarities and the subtle differences between the cuisines. And the name was inspired by these regions. So Lebanon is known as Cedarland, not just because of the resource, but it also reflects the people. Cedar trees are very resilient and tough, and it kind of mimics the people of the land. And so what you're seeing in not just the architecture of the restaurant, but the art that Golie has created is to show the resilience and the durability of the culture and the concept, to be able to showcase an amazing cuisine and tie into the art that's been replicated to show freedom and a future and a transition from the past into what it's going to become. So I'm really excited about what's coming, and really excited. Hopefully soon.
Yes,
Hopefully soon.
You should be. And I mean, I think this Sand and Cedar Taverna is going to be such a multi-sensory experience. Between your eyes are going to be fed by Golie's artwork, your stomach is going to be fed by the food. What do you think patrons of Sand and Cedar are going to get out of this experience? Hopefully, what do you hope they get?
I hope they're overwhelmed. I hope they're not surprised that they deserve such an amazing culture and concept. The design of the restaurant is unbelievable. I'm very proud of it. There's over 40 old world arches that stand 15 feet tall.
Whoa.
So we've invested heavily, like all the concepts I'm really focusing on, we invest heavily in architecture so that you're transcended into the space. And then even the uniforms that we're using for the staff, you'll feel like you're not in Ocean Pines. You're gonna feel like you're transcended into a beautiful spot. So we're looking for some, God willing, some national accolades, hopefully, from this concept. I have a great team of chefs and managers, and I'm very, very excited. And the art will, I think, make this place it'll be a perfect setting. Music is gonna be also a big part of what we do there as well.
I was going to say that, don't forget the music, because that plays a huge role in one of the sensory experiences that you just mentioned.
Yep.
And I mean, music is an art in itself. So Golie, for you to kind of work as a couple, as a married couple, and sort of you in the art world and him in the food world, how do you see your worlds colliding in this one project together?
It's funny because we were actually saying once he has all the restaurants in place and we have some time, we're going to collide in the music world, I think. That's
I love that collaboration. So for folks who want to enjoy this multi-sensory experience, whether it's the art, it's the music, it's the food, when are you guys in full swing?
Sand and Cedar Taverna, that's a good question. Soon. Very, very soon. It could be the next couple months that you see a new launch, a soft opening. So, yep, and we'll probably, once we get, our times, figured out, we'll probably present, a nice soft opening and invite you guys to come out.
We'll be back, and I'm going to try and put myself on that shoot. I'm going to be like, and this one's for Leah. Because I just know that the food's going to be amazing. The artwork we already know is stunning. And it's just going to be a really overall wonderful experience to have in Ocean Pines, which is going to be very exciting. Thank you both for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
And
Thank you for having us.
telling us about all that you have going on.
Thank
But
you.
we're actually not done talking about artwork. There's more for students when CoastLife gets back.